Hello everybody, welcome back to FastGadgets. So I'm shooting this on my tablet outside, so I apologize for the weird angles. I'll try to do some cutaways and stuff like that, but one of the things I'm trying to do to get videos out a little bit faster for you is do some of the videos a little less formal, so it saves me a lot of time with editing and cutting. Now, some of the videos that I shoot, oh wow, several different cuts, hundreds, and it can take a lot of work. If you watch the video on the newer gimbal that I recently put out, that video took a long time, and I actually had to go out and do pickups. If you're in the film industry, you know what pickups are. It means that you didn't get enough footage the first time around, so you had to go out and shoot some more footage, and I had to do that 2 more times. But I do like to try to give you the most qualitative videos you can, but sometimes there's content that I just want to get out there and just have an open conversation with you instead of having a scripted video that's carefully edited and cut to be perfect. So forgive me if you don't like this style, but here we go. So my big conversation for today is the Yoga 910 Pro 3 months later and my opinion on it. So I've taken the time to come up with about 9 pros that I really like, and I've got, it looks like maybe 4 or 5 cons that I really don't like. So we're going to talk about it right now. So I'm going to go through the pros first, and if you see me looking up, it's because I'm actually looking at the Yoga 910, and I've got a Google Doc with all my points that I want to make in it. First one, the accurate and beautifully awesome mouse pad. It really is beautiful. So I don't know if you had a chance to try one of these out or go into the store and check it out, but this mouse pad is wonderful. So it's one of the improved accuracy mouse pads that are coming out on some more premium, newer Windows machines, and I've actually found it to be very nice. And when I'm working and I don't have a mouse, instead of going, oh man, this is going to take forever, I think, you know, it's not that bad because I've got the accurate mouse pad now that's supposed to be so much more better. Now, what's cool about it is I've actually found it to be more accurate in Linux than Windows, but either way, both of them are very accurate. Is it as good as the MacBook Pro or a MacBook? I hear this often, and I'm going to go with no. But with my Lenovo Yoga 2, if I were to say before how good was the mouse pad, I would give it maybe a C or a C minus. And this one I would give an A minus. Now, if you were to think of the MacBook Pro mouse pad, I would give that one an A plus. If you've got to do work and you don't have a mouse, that mouse pad on the MacBook Pro, my 2015, even my old one, the 2008 or the 2009 that I have, either one of those MacBook Pros, it's so accurate and so wonderful. So I really like that. But this one's really good. Number 2, and really I should have made this number 1. If you're going to go out and buy a new computer, I'm telling you, you got to go look at the screen for yourself. The 4K screen, I got the 4K, now there is a 1080p of the Yoga 910, is the sharpest, most beautiful display I've ever seen. I absolutely love this screen. It looks great whether it's in Linux or Windows, maybe just a hair softer in Linux, and I really think that's due to the fonts, although you can do non-free repository with RPM Fusion, and you can get some of those Microsoft fonts, the free ones. So I've added it, and it looks pretty good. I've heard people say when they look at my videos when I'm shooting Linux, you know, the desktop looks really cool, but the fonts suck. And that's one of the criticisms of Linux, and I think it's valid. And you just kind of have to either accept it or you don't. Now, it's gotten way better. I found that KDE Plasma, the fonts are decent. And of course, GNOME 3X, I think the fonts are really good in GNOME 3X. But Unfortunately, GNOME 3X does a terrible job of supporting a 4K display, and it really doesn't do that great of a job supporting 1080p either. So that's my opinion. But for that reason alone, and the quality, the sharpness, the brightness, I'm extremely happy with the screen. It's absolutely amazing. Speaking of the screen, number 3, the screen I have is a 13.9 inch, so in the same footprint as my Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro, which I really liked. I now got 0.6 of an inch more screen real estate. So basically I have about an inch more screen real estate, and with my eyes not being the greatest, it does make a difference. I do like that quite a bit, so that's another factor to consider. Number 4, very fast, very fast SSD, and I will post the scores up. I've actually, at the time of this video, I forgot what they were. I know that's embarrassing, but I'll go through and I'll run the test again, and I'll post up right now what those scores are. But the SSD is extremely fast, and I really like it. Boot time for me in Windows is about 1 to 2 seconds, and that, you can't beat that. Boot time in Linux, I would say 4 seconds. So either way, it's awesome. And wake up, don't even get me started. I love the wake up. You open the lid, and literally the thing is on, whether it's in Linux or it's in Windows. Windows will put my laptop into hibernate after a little while, so you have to press the power button on the side. But once again, you press the power button, and in the boot menu I have set up Grub 2, I select Windows, and I'm in 1 second, literally 1 second. It's really not bad at all. Number 5, on the Yoga 910 Pro, battery life is twice what it was on my, Yoga Lenovo 2 Pro. So the Yoga 2 I was running, which is also an i7 but an older model, I would get, 4 hours, 4.5 hours. So it wasn't that bad, but I did some testing with the Yoga 910, and I'm able to push out 7 hours to 8 hours. I can get 8 hours if I keep the power levels low on the screen, and it really can get me through my workday, which I think is awesome. I needed a laptop aside from my MacBook Pro that I could count on to get me through and do everything I needed to do. So it really is working well for me in that regard. Weight. The thing is only 3 pounds, and it's very thin. Now, I put a case on this particular unit, so I don't know if you can see the case. See if you can check that out. The case makes it a little heavier, maybe, 1/4 of a pound, not even that. I would say maybe 1/8. So the case is just plastic, and it does a pretty good job of protecting the laptop, and it's only $10. And when I have to carry this computer and take it with me to class or when I'm working or whatever, I have found that being able to just have this particular laptop in my bag is so much easier. And the cool thing is, if I accidentally forget, I forgot to bring the charger, no problem, because I know the unit's going to last plenty of time. Now, I used to have a MacBook Pro 2011, and what was that one, like 4 to 5 pounds? It's funny because when you think about it, it's like, it really isn't that much more, but boy, when you're hauling that thing around, it's a lot. So there is quite a difference with weight. Now, my new MacBook Pro 2015 comes in at about 4.5 pounds. So it's a Retina, and it's thinner still, but still you can really feel that thing in your bag after a while. And this unit, not a problem. Now, this is one of the things that I've criticized. This is number 7 we're about to talk about, pros, is thinness. Now, I've said, in my opinion, that I think this, and I have a video out about it, this drive to make the thinnest ever laptop is ridiculous. What's good about it being thin? Well, a couple of things. One, it makes it much lighter. So this unit, of course, is a Yoga, so I can flip it and rotate it. And I like to be able to do that. And I do use it as a tablet. And this is one of the features that are important to me. When I am teaching a class, I will take the unit and fold it up as a tablet. And I can use it for note taking, or I can use it to go to the website that I'm talking about, or do presentation notes. When students are working on projects in lab, I can walk around with it, and if they have a problem, say in Dreamweaver, I can pull up Dreamweaver and then I can work in Dreamweaver. It's a little harder, of course, because Dreamweaver doesn't support tablet mode so well, but other applications do, and I found my way around, of course, and using the virtual keyboard and stuff like that. So I really like that thinness, and when you flip that thing into a tablet, it's actually not bad at all. That's my opinion anyway. The Watchband Hinge. Yeah, I kind of considered this somewhat of a joke. When I saw it, I didn't care. I mean, that was basically my response when I saw the Watchband Hinge. I thought, so what? Who really cares about the Watchband Hinge? My Yoga 2 Pro had a standard hinge, and it was fine with me. It worked great. So why did I think I needed to worry about the Watchband Hinge? It's all just basically glitz, right, to make it look nicer. That is true, but it actually does hold extremely well. Now you got to remember, this thing is really thin. So if I were to go ahead and tap the screen, now unfortunately I have this case on which I've got feet on it, and they're not the greatest. So let me see if I can get the tablet to stay in position. And I'm going to put my thumb so you can see how much give is actually in the lid. So it's better. It's very stiff, so I have to firmly push to get it to move. Now, of course, that's one of the negatives, right? This is not a one-finger lift unit, so you can't lift the unit with one finger, but that hinge is very stiff, and it really does need to be in order to perform the way I need it to. Now, this one somewhat surprised me. I honestly thought that the unit wasn't going to have as good a performance as I thought it was, but this particular laptop, the Yoga 910, has about 30%, 40% superior performance over my Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro. Now, I can't say with the Yoga 3 or the 900 or any of those other ones, but this one did meet and slightly exceed my expectations for performance. I didn't want to think that I was just getting this laptop because it was glitzy and all aluminum and all that stuff. I really wanted to believe that this laptop was going to help me make videos quicker and more reliably. And it does that very well. So I'm really pleased with this particular unit. And even though it's a dual core, they call it an i7. It is a KB Lake. Performance is pretty good on it. I really do like it. Next, and I'm going to call this number 10 in the pros. So before, the chassis was not all aluminum. As a matter of fact, I believe on the Yoga 2 Pro, the top was like a magnesium alloy. The bottom was simple plastic, I believe, but with a silver look to it. It might have been magnesium alloy on the Yoga 2 Pro. I'm thinking of my Yoga 2 11, which was less expensive. And inside was kind of a carbon fiber-like surface by the keyboard. The new Yoga 910 is all aluminum, and is that a plus? Will it make it last longer? I don't really believe so. It looks nicer. It's got a cut beveled edge, which makes it look beautiful, but I really don't think that's going to make any difference in the longevity of the unit when I think of the fact that my Yoga 2 Pro is going on, what? It'll be 4 years this year, coming year, 2018. So no, it's done fine, but it looks great. So let's talk about the cons, because there are some. First of all, I'm going to add this one into my list of cons. If you are a touch typist and you do not want to change, you are not going to like the shortened shift key on the Yoga. So I know you've probably seen it, but I'll bring it up anyway. So here is the shift key that has been shortened, and many people do not like that shift key. And I can understand that. It took me a little while to get used to it, but it's not like it's the end of the world. I was able to begin using it, and what I had to do, because I was making mistakes repeatedly, was literally do words that had a shift in it, like the A key, for example. Now, the majority of the time I'm using my left hand with the shift key, but there's a few keys I can't get away with that, and that's the A and the S, and maybe, let's see, looking at the keyboard, the Z and the Q. All the other keys, I actually just inherently use the left shift key. So if you don't want to have to relearn that piece of your touch typing, and it's harder than it seems, you're not going to like this computer. Now, I bought it and I knew that was going to be a problem, and I accepted it. So I taught myself basically with repetition how to stretch my finger to actually get to the shortened shift key. And although I still don't do it 100% of the time, it's not an issue for me. So I'm just saying that, but I consider it a con, all right? I mean, really, come on. Can't they design a better keyboard than that? Look at the consistency that you usually get with Apple and the placement of the keys. Really good. Why? Lenovo, whatever. Anyway, I like the keyboard on the Yoga 2 Pro, so I don't even know why they changed the keyboard layout. Next, number 2. I think it's an anodized aluminum finish on the outside. Before I had a case, the bottom, the anodizing process looked to me like it was really thin. And if you rubbed a little bit, if you got some dirt on it and you rubbed, it looked to me like it was going through, and you'd see that dull gray aluminum, you know, with no finish on it. So, that's disappointing. I don't know if it's a defect on my unit or what. You wouldn't even be able to see it if I held it up in front of the camera. That's how minimal it is. So it may be a non-issue. I did have to return my first Yoga 910 model because the LED light up for the keyboard, the light that passes through the keys, it was like a quality control issue. Some of the keys were much more opaque than other keys, so basically the light would come through some keys but not through others, or very dimly in others, so it had a very mottled, non-uniform appearance. And I thought, you know what, if I'm paying $1,500 for this, I'm taking it back and I'm gonna get a new one. I told the lady, I'm opening the box right here. If it doesn't work, I'm done. And it was fine, so the keyboard was correct. The key quality compared to the quality on the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro is definitely cheaper. It just has a thinner, lower quality plastic, you know, just kind of a quickie injection molding plastic feel to it, where the other keys on the Yoga 2 Pro were much, much nicer, and to me, gave me the impression that I had a quality computer. Typing is great on it, so I have no complaints about the typing. I'm just telling you my opinion about the keys. Okay, fan noise. This is a huge one. This is number 3. Many people ask, yeah, but what about the fan noise? Well, as with everything, here's the trade-offs. And this is a like or don't like, it's all up to you. You got 3 modes in the BIOS. You have quiet, which is a new mode, balanced, which is the original mode and the mode it's set for when you buy it, and performance. The downside here, if it's in balanced mode, the fan can come on and ramp up, and it is distinctly louder than the fans on my Yoga 2 Pro or on my MacBook Pro. And I consider the Yoga 2 Pro an equivalent of the Yoga 910 in just different generations, okay? Both were i7s. The Yoga 2 Pro had a 3200 by 1800 screen. I got 8 gigabytes of RAM. It has an SSD in it. All the perks, right? Backlit keyboard. Keyboard placement in the Yoga 2 Pro, perfect. Backlighting, perfect. Keys, perfect. Fan noise at the highest possible speed, perfectly fine, perfectly fine. And there's 2 fans in it, just like in the Yoga 910 unit. Yoga 910 unit sound, it has kind of a jet engine, loud whining sound to it. Now, if you're in a room with other people, I want to just emphasize what I mean by loud. I had my laptop and I was teaching a lecture. I was, at the time, recording video and walking students through a tutorial. And I was curious. I thought, I wonder if the fan's on. I could not hear the fan. And there was really no noise in the room, you know, except for the air handler in the room and some very quiet conversations. So if you're in a completely silent room, you're going to notice it. If you're in a room and there's other people in there and things are going on, even a quiet room, it's really not that noticeable, even at its highest speed. So don't panic. So what's your options? Well, you can turn it on quiet mode in the BIOS. Here's the downside of doing that. If you turn it into quiet mode in the BIOS, it shaves about 10% of the performance off. And it's basically throttling the CPU to maybe 90% of value. So what that means is that it's going to run way quieter. The fans will not ramp up to full speed. They'll only go to about 50 to 60%. And that's a real bummer. So you do lose performance. Now, the cool thing is you get greater battery life. The unit doesn't get as hot. The fans never get loud. So it's a good mode if you're just out and about. And then if you need to switch to, you know, balanced, and I did do benchmarking, and I will put that information up. If you do, if you switch to balanced or performance, and neither one seems to make any difference, they're about the same. Hornet, love it, just came right up to me and said hi. If you do balanced, basically, oh no, that's a B. We'll let him live. If you do balanced, you just get more performance, right? And it does get hotter, so that's the downside. So my take on it, knowing that going into it, was I really am not that worried about it. I mean, in a quiet room, yeah, you probably will notice it, but it really, to me, was a minor issue. So I went with it. And what I do, instead of, I leave the BIOS setting in balanced mode, and then I go into the power settings, and I've customized power saver mode in Windows, so that even when it's plugged into power, it only uses about 98% of the processor. And it basically keeps it from going into the high fan mode almost always. And you could lower that even more. You could set the processor usage to 90% maximum when plugged in, and you would never hear the fan rev up. So that's something you could think about doing. And it makes it easier because then you don't have to keep rebooting and make changes to the BIOS. Number 4, the camera's on the bottom. Well, I don't know why they did that. Has it been a problem for me? No, not really. When I'm using the camera to video really quickly, I just put the unit in tent mode. Now in Linux I have to manually flip the screen, but in Windows it's already set up, so it's no real problem. And I haven't had a problem with it. Now, I don't care for the camera at all on the lower part of the screen when I am using it, so I won't use it. I'll always put it in tent mode, or I'll put it in tablet mode or something like that, because I look deplorable. I already look bad enough on screen, let alone having you guys, literally, my belly takes up 78–80% of the screen, and then you see my head way up in the corner. It's ridiculous. I mean, honestly, and my beard, you know, you would see my beard, you'd barely see my eyes. What else? Number 5. Yes, the unit is very thin. Thinness comes at a price. To me, it feels more fragile than my Yoga 2 Pro and my 2015 13-inch Retina. Interestingly enough, the Yoga 2 Pro has the exact same dimensions on the outside and weight as the Yoga 910 does. So that one felt really nice and solid. This one doesn't feel as solid when compared to my MacBook Pro or the Lenovo Yoga 2 Pro, sorry, when compared to the Yoga 2 Pro. You can take that for what it is. it doesn't feel flimsy, okay? I'm not saying that. It just, maybe it's the lightness. I really don't know. It just, to me, does not feel as firm and sturdy in the hand. You know what I mean? So when I pick it up and I hold it by the bottom part and I'm handing it to my wife or whatever, it just feels like I could crack it if I was to bounce it up and down a little bit. I don't think that ever with my MacBook Pros. I'm not even concerned at all. I pick that thing up and hand it over, and I feel confident that it's not going to break, right? Knowing what I know and all these things I just told you, would I still buy the 910? Yes, I would. I'm actually really happy with it. The pros that make me very satisfied are the 4K screen resolution. I'm sure the 1080p is beautiful too, but I absolutely love it. It's awesome. The additional inch of screen real estate is something that I really need. The battery life is huge for me. That means a lot to me when I'm on the road. The performance, definitely better than I had hoped. I'm really happy with the performance. So overall performance, wonderful. So those are the reasons that, you know, the key reasons that I decided this unit would be something I would buy in the future. Absolutely. The keyboard issue isn't an issue for me. I've taken care of that. The camera is not an issue for me. The fan noise, I think, is way overstated. It's really not that bad, so don't worry about the fan noise. If you're sensitive to noise, then maybe it's an issue. Maybe you should go in and test one for yourself. So my neighbor's got a hot rod over here and he keeps turning it off and turning it on over and over and over again. That's my neighborhood. Okay, so those are the pros and the cons, and the bottom line is, yes, I would buy it. If you found this video useful, do me a favor and like and subscribe. If you really found this video useful and you'd like to see more, consider throwing me $1 on my Patreon page, patreon.com/FastGadgets. I would love to see you there. My goal is to get $200 a month. That would make huge differences, and I would be able to teach way less classes. So I could spend more time producing video content, which is really what I want to do. I think I'm always going to be teaching some, but I would really like to spend time doing more video content. So I'm making a couple $100 from YouTube advertising. If I threw in another couple $100 from Patreon, basically I would have roughly the amount of a small class. So that would be totally awesome. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on Fast Gadgets.